The topic we are presenting here is motion generation and control for the anthropomorphic mechanisms. My name is Mehak. I am a second year undergraduate student of Mechanical Engineering Department. My roll number is 20ME30036 and my group partners are Adesh Thalwar and Anushka Kulkarni. Human beings, animals, and some birds use their legs to move with great mobility, but we do not yet have a full understanding of their motion mechanism. The reason is that we lack man-made robots that use legs to obtain high mobility. We especially need two-legged robots that are able to adapt to human living environments such as offices and homes. In order to analyze a human walking mechanism, some research groups studied hydraulically actuated or pneumatically activated two-legged mechanisms in the 1960s. If we talk about evolution of robots, it's been decades since this revolution has happened. About the self-aware robots taking over the world and making us work smoothly. On the contrary, technology is and always will be the catalyst for change. It's not as violent as movie makers think it would be. There's still a lot of history that went into the roots that we use today, and some problems that engineers struggled with 3 4 decades ago still remained unsolved. Isaac Asimov coined the term robotics and gave simple laws that govern this whole mechanism, that is, sensors for input, control system for decision making, effectors for output. Let's talk about the evolution in terms of generations. Here we have given a brief summary of all the 5 generations we are going to discuss about. Industry is a good place to start, so that's where robots originally started to add purpose since factory work can be repetitive and quite heavy lifting. It's ideal to employ robots in this domain. The world's first industrial robot, Unimate, worked in a General Motors production line in 1961. In the second generation, Japanese robots have led the field. They initiated a robot project in 1967 and in 1972 completed the Robot 1, the world's first full-scale humanoid intelligent robot, Wabot 1, with good machine intelligence, motor and vision system, and most importantly, ability to communicate in Japanese. Another bot from this generation is SCARA. This acronym stands for Selective Compliance Assembly Robot Arm. By the virtue, it was only an arm which was rigid and liable in the X and Y. It was a jointed two-link arm with a rigid Z-axis and liable at X and Y axis. It could transfer parts from one cell to another and for loading and unloading processes. Moving on, we have the third generation presenting to you Wabot 2, the musical robot. This robot could not only read musical chords but could also click thanks to its inbuilt motors in the arms. With its visual and vocal subsystems, it could successfully hold conversations as well. With that, we move on to generation 4 and first of its kind intelligent robots or the AIBO, which was the series of robotic pets designed and manufactured by Sony, having actuators for lifelike movements and its legs, neck and tail, with sensors to enable touch, sight, range and actual dock-like speed with 8 GB RAM, 64-bit RISC processor. Another bot, Robonaut 2nd, originally designed to test how machines work in microgravity. This one outshone its predecessors with a wide range of sensing, reduced flammability, and reduced electromagnetic interference. It's the perfect one to help at the International Space Stations. Post that, we might say that a fifth generation robot is something that nobody has designed, but there's still a robot I would like to talk about that brings the world's tomorrow to its today. Sophia, the robot mostly known for its human-like appearance and compared to its previous robotic appearance, Sophia uses artificial intelligence, visual data processing, and facial recognition. Also, Sophia imitates human gestures and facial expressions. The information is shared in a cloud network which allows input and responses to be analyzed in a blockchain technology. Now these are the slides prepared by Anushka Kulkarni and I am going to present these here. Human robot interfaces have many applications, including prosthetics and artificial wrists, manufacturing and industrial assembly lines, surgery in medical robotics, hand rehabilitations, assisted living and care, soft wearable robotics, territory patrolling, drone-based delivery and logistics, military robotics applications, smart agriculture, and students teaching. However, achieving efficient object grasping and dexterous manipulation capabilities in robots remains an open challenge. When designing anthropomorphic robotic hands, that is, robotic manipulators, whose structure, it is challenging to achieve feedback from actuators, sensors, and the mechanical part of the manipulator about the shape, texture, and other physical characteristics of the gasped object. Gasping is considered one of the must-have skills that the robots need to master before being successfully adopted as a replacement for many manual operations. The robotic hand gasping task is commonly implemented using rigid robotic hands, which need accurate control with tactile sensor feedback. Robotic manipulation tasks have become very demanding when a gripper needs to have a feasible plan to solve grasping problems under possible uncertainties such as items occupying unknown positions or having some item properties like shape unknown for a robot. Developing an accurate robot grasping for a wide range of object shapes is a serious challenge for order delivery and home service robotics. The anthropomorphic robot hand has to grasp and lift items without pre-knowledge of their weight and damping characteristics. Optimizing their reliability and range is complex due to inheritance, uncertainty in control, sensing, and tactile feedback. The robotic hand control parameters depends upon the geometric properties of the item, such as shape and position, while grasping control is related to the structure of the gripper. Currently, the robots empowered by artificial intelligence algorithms can accomplish moving objects through grasping. Grasp detection based on neural networks can help robots to precisely perceive surrounding environments. Then the other one is robot controller feature. Desirable features to look for in robot controllers include compact size and lightweight. Then energy consumption. Sufficiently designed slim and lightweight robot arm require lesser power so that motors draw less electrical current. So here we'll talk about the algorithms and work done for the mobility of robots. Computers evaluate the grasp robustness of the three-figured robotic hand based on position and movement speed measured at each joint, achieving 93.4% accuracy of predicting the grasping stability with unknown gripping items due to inexpensive tactile sensors used. The problem of searching optimal robot configurations for grasping operations during the collaborative part assembly task is a constraint satisfaction problem, known as CSP. They propose the algorithm for simplifying the problem by dividing it into a sequence of atomic gasping actions and optimizing it by removing the unnecessarily repeated gasp for the plan. Now here I am going to explain the slides prepared by Adesh Dhalwar. Robotic arms can be used for a variety of purposes. If you are speaking about a prosthetic arm, it not only gives people their arm back but can also give them improved abilities like not getting injuries on their arm or even making them stronger. Stroke rehabilitation therapy is another interesting application for a robot arm in the medical field. The study, which examined the effectiveness of a class of robotic devices developed at MIT, found that in chronic stroke survivors, robot-assisted therapy led to modest improvements in upper body motor function and quality of life 6 months after active therapy was completed. These improvements were significant when compared with a group of stroke patients who received the traditional treatment. Moreover, robotic therapy, which involves a more intense regimen of activity than traditional stroke therapy, did not increase total healthcare cost per stroke patient and could make more intensive therapy available to more people, say the researchers who led the study. In today's digital savvy area, it has become imperative to leverage advanced technologies in expediting processes. Especially, the advent of robotic automation systems in the manufacturing industry has transformed the way they keep up with the present day demand. Robotic arms are used in manufacturing sector in order to maintain precision and deliver results at a shorter span. Some of the advantages of having robotic arms in the industrial practices, irrespective of the verticals, include improved efficiency in processes, quicker turnaround time in building products, emphasis on precision in the manufacturing process, reduction in the working process, effective ROI, increased team productivity. The largest industrial application of robots are machine tending, welding and spray painting. Some are also used for machine vision based parts, sorting and stacking for packaging. Sometimes a robot arm is a total overkill solution. If your application only requires a basic movement over one or two axes, then you should aim for a simpler system. Complex to develop, mechanically speaking, every axis you add will add some weight on all the previous axes, and this weight will also depend on the position of the arm. Also, if you increase the load on the add effector in a linear way, the real load of the base motors will increase exponentially. The other con is the cost compared to the more standard solutions is very high. Hereby, we come to a conclusion that in the past few decades, robotics has increased its roots in various fields of industry from medical services to defense tech. It's going to play an essential role in every aspect of human life. Here, the mobility of service robots is addressed. Mobility is an important requirement of service robots, and the affordability of the locomotion method must be carefully considered for the successful commercialization and industrialization of service robots. The workspace of human can be divided into three categories, and each service robot of each workspace has a respective locomotion method. However, according to primitive purpose, general service robots should be able to perform most tasks given to them anywhere. Here are the references that we have used in making the video presentation. This video presentation is made by Mehak, roll number 20ME30036, Anushka Kulkarni, roll number 20ME10019, and Adesh Dhalwar, roll number 20MF10001. Thank you.